Today, on this sacred Dattatreya Jayanthi, let us travel back to an ancient age when devotion, purity, and tapasya shaped the destiny of the world. This is the divine story of Lord Dattatreya, the combined blessing of the Trimurti, the eternal Avadhuta, and the embodiment of pure knowledge. Our story begins in a serene hermitage nestled in the heart of a sacred forest. Here lived the great sage Atri and his devout wife, Mother Anusuya. Their life was a testament to unwavering devotion and rigorous spiritual practice. Their purity was so profound that it resonated through the celestial realms, earning the admiration of all the gods. However, this great virtue also attracted a celestial test. The consorts of the Trimurti goddess, Saraswati goddess Lakshmi, and goddess Parvati wished to see the extent of Anusuya's celebrated chastity. To test her, they requested their husbands Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, and Lord Shiva to visit her ashram. The Trimurti arrived in the guise of wandering sages and made a most unusual request. They would only accept her alms if she served them without any clothes on. A lesser soul would have been shaken, but Mother Anusuya, with her deep spiritual insight, understood this was no ordinary test. Closing her eyes, she sprinkled sacred water from her husband's feet upon the three sages. In that very instant, by the power of her unwavering purity, the mighty Trimurti, the Creator, the Preserver, and the Destroyer were transformed into helpless, crying infants. She then lovingly took them in her arms and fed them as a mother would, her heart filled with divine affection. When their consorts grew worried and came searching for them, they found their husbands as babies in Anusuya's cradle. They realized the immense power of her virtue and begged her forgiveness. Moved by their plea, Anusuya restored the gods to their original forms. Overwhelmed by her purity and boundless compassion, the Trimurti offered her a boon. Mother Anusuya, with a heart full of devotion, asked that the three of them be born as her son. The gods graciously agreed. They merged their divine essences, their energies flowing together to manifest as a single divine child. Thus was born Lord Dattatreya, a child with the combined energies and blessings of Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, glowing with a magnificent threefold divine aura. As young Dattatreya grew up in the tranquil hermitage, it was clear he was no ordinary child. He radiated a profound sense of peace and divine wisdom that touched all who came near him. Miracles happened naturally in his presence. He taught the simplest yet most profound truths of compassion, detachment, and the oneness of all existence. His very form is a lesson in spiritual philosophy. Lord Dattatreya is always seen with 4 dogs, which symbolize the 4 Vedas, the eternal scriptures of wisdom. They follow him not just as companions, but as reminders that all sacred knowledge follows the one who has realized the ultimate truth. By his side stands the sacred cow, Kamadhenu. She represents wish fulfillment and the abundant nourishment that Mother Earth provides. In his hands, he holds symbols of his divine parentage. The trishula or trident represents Lord Shiva, signifying his mastery over the three states of being waking, dreaming, and deep sleep. The Sudarshana chakra or discus is from Lord Vishnu, symbolizing the eternal cycle of time and righteousness. The japa mala, or prayer beads, and the kamandalam, or water pot, are from Lord Brahma, representing the creative power of meditation and the purity of a renunciate's life. His very nature is that of an Avadhuta one who has cast off all worldly attachments and social conventions, living in a state of pure, untainted consciousness. As he came of age, Lord Dattatreya embarked on the path of the Avadhuta. He wandered freely through forests, across mountains, and along the banks of sacred rivers. He was a living embodiment of freedom, unburdened by ego or possessions. In his journeys, he saw the entire universe as his teacher. He learned from 24 different gurus, each one a part of nature, revealing a profound spiritual truth. From the earth, he learned patience and forgiveness. The wind taught him to be unattached, moving freely without getting caught anywhere. Fire, which consumes impurities, taught him to burn away negativity and glow with spiritual knowledge. Water showed him the quality of purification, cleansing all it touches. The vast, limitless sky taught him that the true self, the Atman, is infinite and all-pervading. He observed the moon, which waxes and wanes, and learned that the body changes, but the soul remains constant. The sun, which gives light to all without discrimination, taught him discipline and selfless service. The mighty ocean, which remains calm despite countless rivers flowing into it, taught him to maintain equanimity amidst life's challenges. He learned from the honeybee, which collects nectar from many flowers without harming them, how to gather wisdom from various sources. He observed the python, which remains content with whatever comes its way, and learned the art of true contentment. He saw a moth drawn to a flame and understood the dangers of sensory desires. He watched a powerful elephant get trapped due to its lust and learned the peril of ego. A deer, captivated by music and caught by a hunter, taught him how sensory distractions can lead to downfall. But a Carrara bird, which dropped its piece of meat to escape other birds, taught him that letting go of possessions brings peace. A child's innocence and lack of ego showed him the ideal state of being. The simple focus of an arrow maker taught him the power of one-pointed concentration. The serpent, which lives alone and sheds its old skin, taught him simplicity and the power of rejuvenation. He saw how a spider weaves a web from its own being and then withdraws it, and understood how the universe is created from and dissolved back into the ultimate reality. And finally, a caterpillar transforming into a butterfly taught him the great spiritual truth of transformation, the journey of the soul from bondage to liberation. Through these 24 gurus, Lord Dattatreya shows us that wisdom is everywhere for those who have the eyes to see it. Throughout his divine life, Lord Dattatreya performed countless miracles, not to display power, but to shower grace. He granted enlightenment to sincere seekers, rescued devotees from dire situations, and his mere presence calmed even the wildest of animals. Kings and sages alike sought his blessings, humbled by his divine aura. His core teachings are beautifully captured in the sacred text, the Avadhuta Gita in it. He reveals the highest truth of non-duality, the ultimate unity of the individual soul, Atman, with the universal consciousness, Brahman. He teaches us to see the divine in all beings, to be free from the clutches of the ego, and to live in a state of blissful, fearless freedom. The legacy of Lord Dattatreya continues to thrive today through a vibrant living tradition. Ancient and powerful temples like Ganagapur in Karnataka, associated with his incarnation as Narasimha Saraswati, and Pithapuram in Andhra Pradesh, his birthplace, draw millions of devotees. The worship is steeped in sacred rituals. We see the abhishekam, the ceremonial bathing of the divine form with milk, honey, and sacred water. We hear the air filled with the chanting of mantras and melodious bhajans that uplift the soul. A central practice is the paduka worship, the veneration of the Guru's sandals, symbolizing surrender and devotion. Many devotees chant the powerful Dattamala mantra and perform homams or fire rituals to receive his divine protection and grace. This sacred guru tradition, the lineage of spiritual masters, continues to guide seekers on the path to liberation. And so, every year on the full moon day of the Margashirsha month, we celebrate Dattatreya Jayanthi, his divine birth. All across India, devotees celebrate this auspicious day with immense faith and joy. We see them performing puja, lighting ghee lamps that dispel darkness, and offering fragrant flowers at his feet. They spend the day in meditation, fasting, and reading the sacred stories from the Datta Purana. The temples are beautifully decorated, filled with the glow of golden lamps. The sound of the conch shell announces the divine presence. As crowds of devotees pray together for spiritual growth, wisdom, and protection. Annadanam, the offering of free food, is performed, reflecting Lord Dattatreya's own compassion. It is a day of collective spiritual effort, a celebration of the eternal Guru. As we conclude this divine journey, let us hold the glorious form of Lord Dattatreya in our hearts. His serene smile, his compassionate eyes, and his promise of liberation to all who seek him with a pure heart. He is the eternal guide, the teacher of teachers, the very embodiment of the highest truth. May the blessings of Lord Dattatreya be upon you and your family on this holy Jayanthi and always. May he guide you on your spiritual path, remove all obstacles, and fill your life with peace, wisdom, and divine bliss. Thank you for joining us.